Welcome, everybody, to a little bit more of a casual stream today, not Incubator Weekly episode. I'm here with Kaleb. How's it going, Kaleb?
Hello.
Caleb's new to Dash, not a new developer, but new to Dash. And we're going to go through a few things. We'll probably spend about 1 to 2 hours on stream today. We're just going to do some testing together. I've been doing a little bit of testing with the new Dash 2.0 platform release using the Dash Evo tool. And I purposely haven't done anything. I haven't tried using the Dash SDK yet. I wanted to do that together with Kaleb as a way to introduce Kaleb to Dash and Dash platform and see if we're still able to do some of the more basic stuff that we've been able to do for a while on Dash platform testnet now that platform 2.0 is released. So we won't be able to do anything regarding the 2.0 features of platform because that's not yet implemented in the Dash.js SDK. But there's still, presumably, we'll still be able to do the basic things like connecting to the network, creating an identity, creating a data contract, creating documents against that data contract. And we've done this before using Anthony's tutorial. It's a little bit out of date, as you can see on this screen here. It's saying npm i dash 4.0. So we're going to, instead of doing the 4.0, we're going to do 5.0.0-rc.14. That's the latest release candidate. Technically, probably should have been called beta versions or alpha versions. But anyway, that's the plan. We're not going to spend too much time doing the Dash.js SDK stuff because we've done that in the past. I just want to do enough of that to give Kaleb an idea of what it is and how we will be interacting with it using JavaScript and like the overall purpose of platform being for JavaScript developers, amongst others. But that's the focus for me, at least. But so we'll probably spend about 20 minutes, 30 minutes doing that. And then we're also then going to move over to the Dash Evo tool, which is based on the Rust SDK. It's a UI wrapper around a desktop application that interacts with Dash platform via a desktop application using the Rust SDK. So that's the overall plan for today. And I did that in about 3 minutes, so that's better than usual. I'm usually a little bit more long-winded, so I'm getting better at this, I guess. So Kaleb, but tell us a little bit about yourself first before we get started, and how you're here.
I'm here because Rion reached out to me.
Oh, well, yeah. And specifically because we've rubbed shoulders in the meetup, right?
Yeah, the Stack.js meetup. Rest in peace.
Yeah. AJ is not running it anymore. You should pick it up, Kaleb. There's still a need for it, I think, but I don't know what.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but there are lots of meetups around Utah. Lots of developer meetups. But what's your overall developer experience? What do you usually use technology-wise, and what have you done in the past?
So, been a developer for just about 6 years. Professionally, it's always been JavaScript, front-end JavaScript, occasionally some Node, and for like personal projects, it's been all over the place. So like be getting into Elixir a lot, various other JavaScript things with like Dino and Cloudflare workers, kind of like the Edge runtime stuff. And then also I do some UX, UI design stuff, or like that's area I'm interested in, particularly how it overlaps with like a front end development. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Thanks. Well, let's just go. Let's dive right into this this little tutorial. Again, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but I want to go through the first few steps just to give you an idea of what we're working with here. So I think you've already done these first setup steps, and
So
yeah.
And then we're doing what version?
Okay, so it's going to be 5.0.0 dash RC dot 14. And I personally have not even tested this version yet, so it's entirely possible that things might not work. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this stream. I do want to test this latest version out, and just make sure that all the features that used to work still work. But I figured I might as well do it with you. So here we are.
Cool. Well, oh, whoops. Helps if you spell stuff correctly. Add that to our git ignore. Just copy paste all this stuff.
Yeah, Anthony's tutorials are very copy paste friendly. So while we're doing, we'll talk a little bit more about it after you do this next step here. So like I said, we're not going to go through all of these steps, but this just sets up the scripts that we would go through if we were doing the whole tutorial, and it just dumps them into your package.json file.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Okay. API and scripts. Okay. And then actual code time.
Yep.
Open this up in client.js. Do you want me to like walk through what we're pasting here, or?
Yeah, we'll talk about all these steps. Just bump up your font like 3 clicks or so. Maybe, yeah. And we'll use this as a little discussion board for a little bit. So now that we're here and kind of ready to go, but before we run any files, what's your overall understanding of what's your overall understanding of blockchains, and have you done anything with that? Do you just know about it conceptually?
Yeah, I kind of just know about it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's just kind of another data structure. But yeah, like it's a data structure, but the integrity of it is safe. I don't know how to say that.
yeah. I like that you described it as a data structure, because a lot of people, they don't really think of it as a data structure, but it is just a chain of blocks that refer back to each other in a certain way. What's more interesting is like the network that runs this and creates the data structure, and why that all happens and how that all happens. But one of the reasons why, I'm introducing, I am right now introducing platform to developers that don't have a lot of blockchain experience, is because the whole idea with Dash and Dash platform is to make blockchains usable and helpful for any kind of developers as just a way of developing applications in general that are more reliable, robust, transparent, and everybody has like a different purpose for why they want to use a blockchain specifically. But for Dash platform specifically, in the version that it's the state that it's mostly a provable decentralized data storage mechanism. So you can think of it as like a cloud database, but instead of being run and operated by a single corporation that you sign up to and have an account with and pay using a credit card with, you're able to access this network and this data storage mechanism without permission. You pay for it using Dash, which is also permissionless, and you don't need to set up an account with anybody. It's more that you set up your own account and you're able to interact with the network using like a self-sovereign identity that's based on cryptographic key pairs instead of some entry in somebody else's database. So that's the overall idea with it. And a little bit deeper than that, we're trying to make it accessible to JavaScript developers. And so that's why we have this SDK. This SDK will be going through some significant changes over the next little bit here. Now that platform is out on the server side, the service side, the focus is going to start shifting back to the client side and creating better performant and easier to use, better developer experience tools like the SDK. But right now we do have something to work with already. So what we see here is that the first thing that we're going to do is we've already dumped a environment variable called the network into our .env file. And we're going to, let's take a look at that. So we've got it set to testnet right now, which is good. So let's go back to the client's file. So as we talked about a little bit, you and I haven't talked about much of anything with Dash. We had a little bit of a phone call the other day, but I'll give you a little bit more information than we've gone through. We have several networks, primarily 2 networks, but there's also developer networks that you can use to just develop on. We're not going to be using either of those today. We'll probably mostly just be using the test network. And the test network is set up by primarily Dash Core Group, which is one of it's the biggest organization within the Dash ecosystem. And they set up a bunch of nodes. Anybody can set up a testnet node, but they're the ones that run most of them. So that's this long-standing network that's primarily used. It's a public network, but it's used for testing. And so the Dash units that you get on the test network they don't have any market value. They have the same features and characteristics as you would have on the main network that does have a market value, but there's just no market value to these because there's infinite supply and very little demand. That's kind of how it works. So the first thing that we will want, let's just let's take a look at this code, and it's pretty obvious what's happening is we're instantiating a client, and we're telling it that we want to connect to the testnet network, and that we let's see, the wallet offline mode true. I'm not exactly sure what that does or why it's this was copied directly from the platform, from the tutorial here. It's been so long since I've done this that I'm not exactly sure what that does or what that doesn't do, but it probably has something to do with syncing or something like that. But let's go ahead and let's run this file and then see what those logs.
Is there a certain script they wanted us to run?
Yeah, just keep going through the tutorial. It'll tell you
Oh.
exactly. It'll tell you exactly what to do. And if it doesn't, then we need better tutorial, or edits. We've gone through this several times though, so it should be good.
Let's go through this other file. Or I don't think this will actually do anything when we run it.
Yeah.
It's just going to export stuff.
Got it. I think this has changed a little bit since the last time I looked at it, but it's been a while too.
So create wallet.
Yep.
JS script. Then this. Create a wallet, I'm assuming.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah, we wanted to create the client in a separate place so that we didn't have to keep reusing it or keep recreating it in different files.
So we'll pull that in. Get wallet account. Mnemonic. What is this mnemonic thing needed, or what does it do?
Yeah, so that if you've done much with crypto, you've seen 12-word phrases potentially. That's what this does. It's the mnemonic. It could just be called a phrase as well.
Okay.
It's a 12-word phrase.
Okay. Get unused address. And we'll take that address and we're gonna log out the stuff in our passphrase. Okay, so if we run that.
Okay.
So that's our stuff.
And then I think it tells you to copy those. You can see already that it's kind of giving it to you in the form that looks suspiciously like environment variables.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be telling you to do in the next step.
So, yep, copy these, put them in your env. So we put those in.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that part still works with the client.
Yep, that's good.
Add funds to a wallet with a testnet faucet.
Yep. So now we've created our account essentially, right? We've created the private keys, which is the mnemonic, and the mnemonic derives a bunch of public private key pairs, and then the public part of that key pair gets converted into an address, and so that's what you've got there. So we've signed up to the service essentially to use the Web 2.0 analogy. And now we want to put some funds on that address. And because this is testnet, we're able to get some funds for free by going to what's called a faucet. And there's a couple different faucets. I would suggest going to the crowd node faucet there, clicking on that link. That's usually the more reliable of the two. But let's see, faucet. So something might be up with crowd node's faucet. That's interesting. Let's go to the other one and see if that one's working. Might be something to do with your network now that I'm seeing it's happening on both of them.
There we go. That one loaded.
Okay.
I don't know what's up with the other one.
Okay.
So of course. Take this thing.
And then in the promo code field that doesn't look like a field, go ahead and write, click in there and write masternode, and that'll give us more coins to work with.
Just like that?
Yeah. And then sometimes, let's see, is this This is DCGs. Sometimes this looks like it crashes and doesn't look like it's doing much, and sometimes it works. But either way, let's go back. It's either going to work or it's not going to work, and we'll see by checking the balance on the Explorer. So let's go back to the tutorial and open the Dash Block Explorer link that you see there.
I think all these links were done with HTTP instead of HTTPS, and so browsers just freak out for a split second.
Interesting. So the link itself from the tutorial is HTTP?
I think it is. Yeah. Huh. Well, this one's on a different port, though.
Interesting.
The crowd node and testnet ones are both on HTTP.
Okay.
Which isn't an issue, but just if you install like browsers recently, they'll default to showing that page.
Yeah.
Complaining about it, which I think for this one we can just say it's fine. Oh, let's open that.
It also might be the case that the address for the testnet Explorer has changed since the last time that we updated this tutorial. So in which case we would want to see if it's updated in the official docs, and I'll make a note to update the tutorial. So let's go. Yeah, it's a good time to go to the official docs and then just look for testnet or Insight. If you go down to scroll down on the left-hand navigation bar to the very bottom.
The Insight that you said.
Oh, there it is. It's in resources. Let me see the
Platform Explorer.
That's a separate thing that we'll look at later. Testnet Block Explorer is the one that you want. There you go. And put your address in there in the search for block transaction address field. So it's looking like that's insight.testnet.networks.dash.org. I thought that was the same one that we tried that's linked. I didn't see any difference. Oh, the port is different now. So that's good. They've updated it so that it's at the default port now, which is good. Okay, so you can see that we did get the funds that we wanted. So what you're looking at here is you're looking at a transaction on the blockchain, and transactions are kind of tricky to get your head around at first, but they're pretty simple conceptually. Mm-hmm. They consist of inputs and outputs. So the input was 1057 point dash, and that was put into a transaction output that said send 1010 to that address that we own, and then send the rest. That if you summed up the right hand column and the left hand column, it would be roughly the same minus the little amount of fee that's on the left hand column at the bottom there. So that's how transactions work, is that you can think of them as like little gold nuggets or coins. I like to think of them as gold nuggets because coins have fixed denominations and the gold nuggets are like not fixed, but you might have one big gold nugget and then you crush it into two smaller gold nuggets, and that's how it kind of works. And they don't have to necessarily be in specific, even numbers or anything like that, but they do have to sum to, the right hand has to sum to a little bit less than the left hand side, and everything that's not is taken in the fee. So that's how they work. But so we got 1010 dash testnet units. So now let's go back to the
So what was this other address?
So that's called a change address, and that's presumably owned by the same person that sent the transaction. in this case, that would be the wallet itself, or the faucet's wallet.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't. Let's see if I look closely. Yeah, they're different addresses, which means it's doing good practices by not reusing an address. So both of those addresses on the top are owned by the faucet, and so it's sending itself back the amount that it didn't send you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's like going to a convenience store, and you buy something and you give them a 20, and then they take 15, and then they give you 5 back. That's kind of how a transaction works on a blockchain as well. You might get multiple outputs, and
Okay.
the cashier could put the 5 back in there till if the thing that you're buying cost $5, for example. So anyway, let's go back to the old tutorial. So you can see that we got that.
Okay.
And
Wanted us to click on this. Oh, that just goes into the transaction. Oh, I see.
yeah.
So we looked at all that. Okay. Click for more information. Okay. Modify the client again and include our mnemonic seed phrase. Okay. So we're gonna update our client to pass in our passphrase. Skip synchronization before height.
Yeah, and that just makes the syncing go faster.
Okay.
And as you can see, those wallet options this time didn't include that offline part, which is, I'm not used to seeing that. So that's because I'm usually used to thinking about these options right here.
Okay, then we're gonna do a new script.
Yep.
Oh. And put this into here's create identity.
Yeah. So this is the step that I'll be curious to see if it works still. And this is doing several things under the hood. It's creating a Dash transaction. So in Dash, I'll use this as another little opportunity to explain some things. In Dash, we have 2 blockchains. There's the proof of work main chain, and then there's the proof of stake platform chain. And this specific function, creating an identity, involves transactions on both chains. So it creates a transaction on the Dash chain, on the proof of work chain, that sends some of the Dash that we have in our wallet right now, which is on the proof of work chain, the main, traditional chain that's been going for over 10 years. When we asked for funds from the faucet, it was sending them from and to addresses on the main proof of work chain, the 10-year plus old proof of work chain. But when we want to work with Dash platform, we transfer some of those funds and convert them into Dash credits to use on the proof of stake chain. So as you were saying earlier, the two completely separate networks and two completely separate data structures, but they talk to each other. And this is one of those transactions that allows them to talk to each other. So it's going to take some of the funds from that address, and it's going to say, hey, convert these into Dash credits, and then create an identity for me on the platform chain, and that costs some money. And so it's going to consume some of our funds, and also then create an identity. So you can think of it as like the first step that we did, where we created that mnemonic. That was kind of like creating an identity on the proof of work chain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to create an identity on the proof of stake chain. So let's go ahead and run this and see if it works.
Mm-hmm. It's taking a minute.
Yeah, I probably should have done that explanation while it was going. And then maybe while it's going, let's take a look at the tutorial at what the next step is, because I want to open up the platform explorer, which it tells you to right here as well. So go ahead and just read that, and then we'll look at this other explorer, which looks completely different, because it's it's also looking at a completely different chain, and it's built by a completely different team.
For testnet.
Yeah, so it has a mainnet and a testnet as well.
Okay. Oh, that finished.
Great. So this is good. Looks like things are still running smoothly here.
So add this. I'm assuming is what it wanted us to do. Yeah. Okay. And then and it links us to that Explorer.
Yep.
So this is.
Can you bump up the font?
Oh, yep. Is that good?
Yep.
This is what we just created. Sweet. Right there.
Yeah. So we have a balance of just under 1 million credits, or under 1 billion, rather.
Yeah.
And you can see on the right-hand column there, total top-ups, 1 billion credits. That's because we transferred, you see below that, there's 0.01 dash. We transferred 0.01 dash into 1 billion credits. That's essentially the exchange rate that's fixed between the two chains. So in other words, 1 dash would equal 100 billion credits. And so we have, and that's what we topped up with. That was the transaction that converted those from, even with that fixed exchange rate, from one chain to the other chain. And then you can also see that our current balance is less than 1 billion. It's 878 million. That's because it charged us some money to create the identity, because it's storing some data on Dash platform.
Oh, okay. That's the creation transaction.
Yep. So identity create was the state transition that we did. It cost some money. It stored some data. It created some keys. It created a bunch of different public-private key pairs on the platform chain. So as you see down below, it has 4 public key pairs for different purposes. And we won't probably go into much more detail on these right now, but I do think that we might want to do at least one more step from the tutorial, and then we'll probably pause that and then shift over to the Dash Evo tool and do something completely different. And then we could possibly finish up this this tutorial in a subsequent stream, or you could do it on your own or something like that. We'll figure that out later. But let's keep going on the tutorial for at least 1 or 2 more steps, and then we'll shift over.
So this one is for retrieve identities.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. So we pull that in and then run retrieve identities. Oh. Retrieve identities. Oh, did I just typo that? Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So before we created an identity, now we're just doing a get. So this particular feature function is free. Doing writes costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Doing reads is free.
Okay, it's running.
And this is one example of what I was saying earlier about there will be some changes in the -JS SDK coming up because this speed issue is nothing to do with the server side or the chain side.
Oh wow!
This is kind of client side issues with how it's currently architected that will change. But again, it does work. So you can see that we got our identity, and we could pull the balance as well. It's the same data that we would have seen over on the Platform Explorer.
Okay.
So you can see that 878 million credits. You can see that that's the same as the number that we saw on the Platform Explorer because it's drawing from the same source, obviously.
Okay. Cool. So this other one.
So I think that we'll stop there for the tutorial side of things. Zoom out for just a little bit on the tutorial, just so we can bring up that menu bar on the right-hand side again. You can see what we've done is we did the setup, we did the initialize dash client. I'm looking at the right-hand column there. We created a wallet. We added funds to the wallet with a testnet faucet. We registered and retrieved an identity. The next step would be registering and retrieving a name. We won't do that, and we won't do the rest of these, but you can see just there's data contracts that you can create. That's where it gets a little bit more interesting on the developer side of things, where you can a data contract, you can think of that as just creating like a schema and then uploading that schema to the Dash platform blockchain. And then the next step below that is submitting, creating and retrieving documents. So you can create documents that adhere to that schema, or what we call a data contract. And you can update, you can delete them, that kind of thing. So you can think of like this would be a way for you to create persistent data storage, but instead of signing up with and registering with a company and a service to do data storage for you, it's just ready for you to do without any of that. You can do it on Dash platform. The only difference, the main difference, is that you would need Dash, the Dash currency, in order to write to that data store. Yeah. So that's the main idea, and that's what this tutorial does. Is it takes you through all the way to creating a simple Hello World app that shows you how that would be done. But now let's shift gears. We're 40 minutes in. We said we'd go 1 to 2 hours, so we're roughly on schedule. We'll go to the Dash Evo tool, and let's so these are the docs. We're on platform docs right now. I do believe that the Dash Evo tool is in the user docs section. So go there. And then on the left-hand side, let's see. Under users, maybe? I mean, we could obviously Google search this, but
Oh,
Dash Evo tool. Yep. Okay, so it was in the network section, I guess. I just missed it.
okay.
Yeah. So let's go through these. I've gone through this myself, and there were a couple bugs that are now fixed, so that's good. So that let's go to that GitHub releases page. Let's back up and open it in a new tab because you might need to
go back to this.
refer to that a couple times. And then instead of the 0.8.5 version, we're going to go back to that releases and then do that top one, the 0.9 developer preview 2. And yeah.
Cool. Okay. Do you want me to refer back to documentation? See if it's
because we're testing documentation as well.
Okay. Open the directory. Open the .env. Oh, okay. So let's just switch to our terminal.
And for the folks watching either now or later, this, if you haven't done the Dash Evo tool yet, this will show you, from scratch how to do this. Even if you're not specifically like a technical user, you should be able to follow these steps pretty easily. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this stream with you, but also show it to other people in the Dash community who may not have done this yet, but have been interested.
Yeah, or like I can't remember how to show hidden files on Finder, so I'm like, crap.
I always forget it, but I think it's if I look at my keyboard, I think it's Command Shift period. There you go.
There we go. So need to open that. Oh, geez.
And then also, if you probably missed this, and no, it's because we're on a stream and everything, but there is a comment about we don't need to do these steps for the default. Yeah, go back to the docs and then click in there, scroll up a little bit. In the tip there, it says below.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So it essentially says
unless you have it.
This.
Oh, okay.
Which is good, because I think the way that the docs are written, obviously you used to have to do this, but I think now you don't have to do this anymore. So we can go straight to the keep going down, updating the. Yeah, we don't need to update. So just running the application, because it's already configured.
Do I have to run it in the terminal?
You can double click it. You can double click it.
Okay.
And
you have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to right click.
Oh.
Open.
Wait. Is there a different step?
Click open. What does that say again?
It's just the same.
Apple could not verify. Oh yeah, yeah. Apple's like very security, depending on how you want to phrase it. I think if you clicked done,
Oh,
it would have been fine, but it wants to default to you moving it to the trash because it assumes it's a virus, I suppose. So
really?
that's one of those things that I actually did make an issue about this whole thing. I think it has to do with the fact that we're not signing certificates and going through the Apple Store and all that stuff.
Sweet.
So if you click done, what happens?
This just kills.
Interesting.
I didn't make any changes, did I, to that file?
Yeah, this might also be something that we missed in the docs. It might have already said this, but you do have to have, well, at least when I tested this, I already had Dash Core running. So we might want to do that. Oh, was this already running?
Yeah, this was up.
It was up. Okay. So that's, it's not up in testnet mode, but I don't think that should matter because it doesn't know that we're interested in that.
So we need some things in our dash conf. I just have a link in my home directory to a dash.conf file, but I don't have anything in it.
Where'd that dash.conf go? Or where did you put that in there?
Yeah, that's just a link to the where it actually is.
Yeah, because it's in a different place than that for sure.
Or
The main one.
I forgot how you see. I forgot how you show where the link is pointing to, but the actual one's in like library application support.
Yep.
Dash core slash yeah, so it's this is what what I created this symlink for. It's just this file.
Okay.
So
But once again, you shouldn't have to do any of those 4 steps to do. So let's scroll up and just make sure that we didn't miss something obvious. So you downloaded, which one did you download?
So we went to the releases page.
Yep.
And ARM64 Mac.
Okay. And you're not on an M1 or anything like that?
No, I am an M1.
Oh, you are an M1.
Yeah.
I think that are you on oh yeah, you did ARM 64, right?
Yeah.
Not the x86.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I did not I don't have an M1, so I tested it on an x86, which was appropriate for my machine. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, because I don't have an M1 to test it on. So you being on M1 is interesting, and that's something that I haven't run into yet. So I'm glad that we're getting this on stream. So yeah, let's look at it again from double clicking on it to start it. What happens? And yeah, done. And then if you right click on it and open, then it's a little bit different, but and if you hit done.
Oh, I was just wondering what that did.
Nothing came up when you hit done?
Not that I noticed. No new windows.
It says testnet equals 1 in okay, so testnet equals 1. So it might be expecting us to have the testnet wallet up.
It should have been. Well, I'm assuming that's the comment for whatever it's looking
I didn't
at.
see that there was a hash there. That's commented out. Okay.
Yeah, it should be. Really, I just removed that just in case.
Yeah. Okay, so that wouldn't have been it then.
Yeah.
Well, we might be done testing Dash Evo tool. It worked for me. It doesn't seem to be working for you on an M1 Mac.
Yeah, like I've seen this with other programs. Like when you just double click it, it doesn't like it, says to delete it. But usually when you do the right click to open, then you can say run anyway.
Yeah, which is what I've found as well. And it's not letting us do that. In that case, let us look at these steps to see if there is anything in here that could potentially help.
So we showed the EMV file for the network you plan to connect to. Place the star with the network name. So let's see if there's anything in here that looks suspicious. There's a local insight at 3001. I assume that's not
Yeah, that
important.
doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure all these nodes that the DAPI addresses, those should be okay. So that shouldn't be the problem either. Let's go ahead and let's open up. Yeah, open up the testnet as well, just so that we can rule that out as being
in Dash Core.
The fact that you don't have any wallets, which you just downloaded Dash Core this morning, right? So you haven't literally done nothing with this other than download it and install it. So creating a wallet might help. We can try that. Let's do that first. Let's go ahead and create a new wallet and just give it a name, test or something. I don't know. And then wait on the advanced options. Yeah, just leave that as is.
Create a passphrase for this.
You can if you're not able to bring it off screen, just for now, just cancel that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, this is just a test anyway, but you can either do what you want to do there, or you could go back up and just not do the encrypted route.
Okay. So got a wallet.
Okay. Yeah, and when we were in the pre-show, like before we were streaming live, I was telling you, let's hold off on creating the wallet because there are very few instances where people are testing things without starting from scratch. So that's why I wanted to get it on screen, because that may be an issue where if you don't have a wallet, then it's not going to, Dash Evo tool doesn't open for you. And in which case we'd either want to make sure that we file that as a bug or make sure that the docs are updated. Because I don't remember seeing in the docs that it required that, but it's just these little edge cases that are good to catch.
Yeah. So we have a wallet now?
We have a wallet now. So now that we have a wallet, let's try to open it up again. Is it trying to do something? Because last time I feel like it gave us a different message.
I don't think.
There we go. Dash Evo tool not opened. Did it just take that long to bring that up, or was it hidden or something?
No, I think that's the same message it's been showing.
Okay, but
I mean, we can check afterwards.
Yeah, done. Okay, killed.
Check process monitor. See if there's anything running.
We could, but that's a little beyond my pay grade. Like, I don't really get into the nitty gritty debugging stuff, especially not on stream. We could if you wanted to, but the fact that it just didn't work is probably enough to file an issue on, and I can do that myself. We don't have to do that right now, but yeah. So now let's try the next thing that we were going to do, which is open the testnet wallet and see if that helps for whatever reason. I don't expect it to, but open the best way to open a testnet wallet is to go to your terminal and NVim, I assume is NeoVim. I used it. Okay. So you want to go to CD into that application support.
Are we folder. Updating that conf file?
We're just going to go to the binary that opens the normal Dash application. Yeah, library application support. And then dash core. Yep. And then let's see, the binary is, where is it?
Is it application?
It might not be in there. It might not be in there actually. Let's go to the official docs and see how to open it on testnet. You just have to give it a testnet flag. You can also edit the conf file and to open it in testnet. Testnet equals 1. You would uncomment that. I guess since we've got that open, you can do it that way. Open up dash.conf and then put that testnet equals 1 again. Yeah. And then
we'll just
the problem is I wanted them both open at the same time, which I didn't really know that you could do until I was testing this myself with Dash Evo tool. I've never seen them together open at the same time. But to do this, you'd have to it's already open, so I don't know if you can do it any other way except for opening the binary. So we can find out where that is on the official docs, unless you can figure it out.
Nope, it's not there.
I always have to look it up personally. I actually probably have it open already. I can I can try to see if it's in my history somewhere. Here it is. Applications -qt. It just happened to be right here. I'll send you this. I'll send you this command over on the private chat here.
Okay.
Let's see. There you go.
Oh, goodness.
So now you've got a testnet and a mainnet instance of Dash Core running. Again, this is not going to help our problem, I don't think, but I just thought we might as well try it in case something was looking for testnet, just because that's how I had tested it and it worked. So yeah, go back to your terminal or that place, and
Try running it.
Try running it again. Right clicking.
Oh, sorry. Okay, done.
So it takes a while for it to pop up that next window, is what I'm seeing.
No, that pops up like shortly after clicking it. Well, I don't know why it just flashed again. But like if I don't do anything.
It's not getting that killed signal though.
Like that's before. Only when I run it from the terminal.
So like, I see.
Yeah, so if we do that, so it pops up immediately, done, and then killed.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's just file that as a bug, I suppose. Later, I'll do that. We could keep going with the other tutorial, or we could call it a day. Let's see. We're 1 hour in.
I'm good if we want to continue.
Yeah. Just trying to think what's my main focus right now is testing -evo tool. So it's kind of a bummer that we weren't able to get it working for you. But that's also, one of the purposes of doing this testing. It is testing. So everything's synced and everything's good to go, synced up on both mainnet and testnet. So, and they're open.
Yeah.
I could share my screen and we could keep going on that, but yeah, let's break back into the tutorial, and we'll take it a couple steps further, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Okay, so where did we leave off?
Registering and retrieving a name. So I'm gonna close this other stuff.
I'm also wondering if we might want to try one of the other releases of -evo tool to see if a different version was working. I don't know. The developer preview, that first developer preview one, for example.
You try that.
But you would want to nuke everything that it installed before you do that. And let me look at my system to see where it puts stuff. It's essentially just those two folders as far as I'm aware. It's the downloads folder, or wherever you downloaded, there's that. So you nuke all that stuff, just the -evo tool folder and the dash and the zip file, nuke that. And then there's also the application support stuff. Actually, not the application support, but the let me bring up my Finder view, and I've got them already open. User documents, application support -evo tool. I don't think it puts -evo tool into applications itself. I think it goes straight into application support -evo tool.
Is it? That's application support relative to your home directory.
Oh yeah, you got to go into application support. Let's see. Oh yeah, library first. It's library first.
Oh.
So your user, and then library, and then application support.
Right, and
then -evo tool.
It doesn't look. It doesn't look like it's in there.
Oh, there's nothing there.
-core
is there, but no -evo tool. So it didn't even get to the point where it created that directory, I suppose.
Yeah, -core might have been there because I put it there. I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. -core goes there by default.
It's like
but -evo tool ends up there if it's successful.
Yeah, it's
okay. So in other words, we don't need to hose that directory because it's already not there. So let's try the developer preview. Yeah, that one. And again, you're on ARM, right?
Yep. So download that, then extract, and then we'll do just a normal double click to open.
I doubt that's going to ever work because of that. Yeah.
So do right click open. Same message. Okay, let's go to the downloads and try running it from the terminal. Or I guess that env file is there. Or evo tool, and it pops up. And then process killed.
Okay. Actually, while we're here, maybe we just go ahead and file the issue, since you've got the
everything.
You've got everything on anyway. So instead of me having to try to copy things from your screen share, let's just file the issue.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
So go over to go to github.com/-pay. And then there's scroll down until you see -evo tool, or just, yeah, there you go. And then file an issue.
Oh, I guess just real quick. Just make sure there wasn't one already. At least right there.
Make sure what?
Just quick brief check to see that nobody else had made one.
Oh yeah.
Already.
Good call.
So we'll say like dash, or say like does not launch install. What should be happening when we run it?
Install. Yeah.
And I have an M1 Pro. Okay. ARM64 build. We could try the x86 build and see if Rosetta will do stuff.
What's Rosetta?
Rosetta. So Rosetta's the like translation layer on M1 Macs that make old the x86 architecture apps work.
Oh,
They just usually they're like way slower.
is that something
But
that you have to like shut down and restart or something like that, or is it simple?
I don't think so. I think it should just be when you run it, like it'll automatically do stuff. I might be wrong. It's been a long time since I've had to like make sure that something runs through Rosetta, but we could try it.
Yeah, we could try it. And you also mentioned something about having access to a Windows machine and Linux as well, right?
Yeah, so we can try switching over there. That's on my desktop. I'm on my laptop currently.
Okay. Let's try the Rosetta thing if you know your way around that. And you don't mind.
Let's say 09 developer preview 2. Is there anything specific I should add to this, or just
just retrace your steps? Yeah.
It's just or actually, I think we can just take a screenshot of that. No, this other thing out of the way.
Let's see what that preview looks like real quick. I wondered if you got the
Oh, that didn't work.
if you got the killed signal in the screenshot.
There we go. So prompt that appears when you click done. The process there seems to be killed. Okay. And then running via double click or right click, open, same prompt opens, and nothing seems to happen. Cool. Does that look good? Try anything else?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's. You might want to put the text of the killed thing in there. Yeah, just make that as a code block or something. So it's So the LLMs know, right?
Yeah.
I guess they can read images too. So
I saw something where
I'm just
somebody
kidding.
was storing data for LLMs and videos
Oh,
as
really?
an alternative to vector databases, which
Hmm.
was interesting.
Yeah, I think I think that's a good enough issue. We can always update it later if we want to add something.
Okay.
And then let's move on to that.
Did you want to try the x86 one?
Just try it on your M1 Mac,
Yeah, we'll just
just for funsies.
see what happens.
Okay, let's try it.
This other stuff. The DMV. Click open. Hmm. Seems like maybe not. uh, let's see if we get anything quick from here. App that needs Rosetta. I've installed it in the past.
You have installed it already?
At least I remember installing it in the past. I'm just wondering if the way they determine that an app needs Rosetta is like an app store process.
Hmm.
Informational. Go to get info. Oh, it might not run for Unix executables. I don't know if it's worth looking into this much more.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it's not like we would ask users to do this. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious if it was something that you had done already and had experience with that we could just try it, and in a little bit, but it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. It's not that straightforward, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't end on a failure, so let's go back to the tutorial, and we'll do a couple more steps of success, and then we'll call it a day.
Cool. Okay. So we've got. Oh wait, did we never? Oh, we never did the top-up identities.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Because the other one we just looked up an identity and got the balance. So top up at that and then run. Just copy paste so that I don't typo stuff. So that's running. Explain this? What is topping up identities?
It's just doing the same thing that we did on the first step when we created an identity. The top up is implicit in the creating an identity. Top up is the transfer from the main proof of work chain to the platform chain. So if, for example, we ran out of balance on the, we had that 800 something million credits.
Mm-hmm.
If that was running low and we still needed to do stuff, then we'd have to top up that balance. And it would convert Dash on the main chain to credits on the platform chain.
Okay.
Let's see. Identity credit balance for da 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 is that now. Wasn't it that before though?
Yeah.
Huh. So let's see. Was that after the top up? It should have added.
That's identity credit balance. Maybe there's some latency here if we open this up in a new tab. Oh, now it updated.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question about why the balance
So,
was wrong on the CLI.
yeah, because it waited. As I'm assuming, it was waiting.
Okay.
But yeah, when it got to here, it returned the wrong balance.
Okay. Well, that there could be various reasons for that, I suppose. Um, maybe run it again, run that same script again, and see if it's updated now, or at least showing the previous update.
So the same top up one.
Yeah.
All right. So run that. So we should expect to see more than that one.
Even if it showed
or
that
the
amount,
other one.
it would be at least something is updating in this. I haven't really. Let's see. And a wait and a 4 block. Let's see.
Which, yeah, that should only be one ID.
Yeah, there should be only one ID. So I mean, but it is awaiting it, so you'd expect that to finish before, and so you would expect the updated balance to be correct, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's while that's doing its thing, let's look at the next step and see what that is.
Next step, register and retrieve a name.
Yeah, let's do this.
Oh, that just finished.
It's updated now. That's a bigger balance at 208 something. So now refresh this. There you go.
Yeah.
So
that
this time
worked,
it showed the updated, like the really updated version in the CLI. So,
yeah,
that previous run was a fluke for some reason.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, register name. Create a label in our environment. Place. We'll say Kaleb. Is this a username that we're making?
Yeah. So this is this is usernames on the Dash platform side.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll take this. And then run npm run register name. So it'll register label dot dash with our identity ID.
Yep.
And should log it out there.
So this is one of those things that affects both chains as well. Well, it's used by both chains. So the username is something where once you've registered and got a username, what you're able to do then is you're able to make layer 1, which is the proof of work chain transactions, using a username. So it's actually your username is doing things on the platform chain, but it's also assisting you to have to transact on the main chain with a username.
Okay. So
but that's
is that finished? And
it looks like you got it. Yeah. You see that
is
label,
this
Kaleb?
the transaction that I'm looking at?
Yep.
Or
Yeah. So
okay.
scroll up to the top again. Is that the very top?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's in the breadcrumbs actually. So you see the home data contracts and then that data contract.
Uh-huh.
That data contract, if you click on that, that is the DPNS data contract. So DPNS is Dash Platform Naming Service. So it's creating a DPNS username that's called Kaleb. So I'm actually going to look at a different site. Let's see if I can remember. I'm just trying to find something on a different site here for a minute. Oh, this is testnet. Okay, yeah, that's why it's not showing. Yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, now I'm looking back to where you are again.
So there's an identity with Kaleb.
Yep.
That's pending.
What is this? Yeah. Hit that refresh button just to make sure.
Is that what this is?
That's not a button. Okay, I got it. Scroll down. There's a lot to say about usernames, but I don't know. Like on mainnet, that username that you selected, that Kaleb, Kaleb, without any numbers or without being really long, is what's called a contested resource. So you would have to wait for a little while to be able to get that username. And it involves like people voting on it and stuff like that. I think that's maybe bypassed on testnet. Either that or it isn't bypassed and it's still contested resource. But in either case, we can keep going with the we can keep going with the tutorial and just take the next steps.
Okay. So we made a name, and now we're getting into. Oh, well, this is retrieve name. I guess we can do that one real quick.
That should work just fine.
Famous last words.
Yeah, because it's if Platform Explorer is seeing it, then it should work. And this is maybe not.
Wait, what was that error?
Did you put it in your? Oh, I think you need to put it in your environment variables. That's the username that it's looking for.
Should be.
Oh, you got it in there already. I didn't see you do that step. Okay.
Pass your name to platform names resolved. I mean, this is an issue with just the script, not the platform. It's not getting a name here from the extended doc. Okay. Let's just do some logging, I guess. Oh, name is just null. So what is extended doc?
Also no.
So, oh, do you think it's because it's not validated yet, or still pending? It's looking up
It's
for
possible.
Kaleb.dash.
You could try to register a different username that has like Kaleb plus your favorite 3 numbers or something. I wouldn't put a dot in there. Just I
Right.
don't know if that's
Oh,
if it's gonna be happy with
right.
that. I wouldn't. Let's just try it without the underscore.
Okay.
Also, I don't remember right offhand which characters are allowed. So, but I do know that if you put some numbers in it, and if it's long enough, then it won't be contested. I don't think that that's the issue. It may be an API change that we need to update some logic with. But let's try to register that name again and or that new name. Do you need to?
So I updated it, and we're running the register name script again.
Okay, good.
And when that finishes, okay.
Did it? Oh,
Eventually, it's still going.
there it
Oh,
is.
there we go. Okay, so that one worked,
Wait a minute. Owned by.
but
Why is Kaleb showing up there?
so I multiple identities.
Interesting.
Wait, what? Yeah, for this identifier. So you could have multiple usernames for an identity.
Yeah, that I know. I knew that I know that's possible, but I didn't think that it would default to that by rerunning the script. So I'd have to look at that again.
Well, it's getting their same. It was using the same identity ID both
Using the same
times.
identity for sure, and that, and I guess it just says that the first name that's created with an identity is some kind of special default.
Huh.
So if we really wanted to test, if we really wanted to retest it, we would have to create a new identity and then register a new name that was not a contested resource. That's if we really wanted to test it, but this might work. This might work to retrieve that one with the retrieving the cremit.
Well, you got something.
Yeah, we got something now.
That other stuff. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's what we're supposed to get.
That one was
That object.
successful. If you change back your environment variable back to the previous one, I want to just check to see if it was a fluke from the SDK.
No. Yeah, we
Or
got
if it's
null
going to
again.
give us the error again. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it might have something to do with the contested nature of that username, or it might have something to do with something else. Not exactly sure.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
So now we're on data contracts. I'll just free up some windows in here. Register contract. Take your identity and our spec. And our spec. Interesting. Is this
Yes, it is.
okay. Like a I was gonna say, is this like a what is it? Is it literally
JSON
called
schema.
JSON schema?
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew that. I could see the thought cloud above your head. It's JSON schema. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, this looks familiar.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's run that. So we'll create the contract and then publish, well, create contract with our schema and our identity, and then we will publish that contract with our identity. And then we'll link to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And again, this is kind of like you're in the role of a application developer creating, in this case, the Hello World application schema.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call it, a data contract. And then after that, we'll create a document that adheres to that schema. Like errors.
Insufficient identity balance.
That's surprising. I thought we had plenty. Maybe we need to top up again.
So if we look at this again. Okay.
Did those numbers match?
220685. Yeah.
And required is one. Can you resize your screen to see which one's bigger?
A lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I think we increased the price or something on these. Yeah. Okay. So let's top up again, and let's change the script so that it tops up with a bunch, like way more.
Top up identities.
Yeah. So that number right there, let's add in a 0 to that or something.
So that's 10 million, and we needed like 120 billion.
No. Yeah, this is where it gets confusing again, because that number above, I believe that's duffs and not credits. So there are 3 units to keep track of in your head. There's dash, there's duffs, which there's 100 million, 100 million duffs in a dash, and then there are 1,000 credits per duff. So I'd have to check the docs to see what that number is, but we can just do a bunch. And
okay.
We could even add some more zeros because we've got a ton of dash to work with. Yeah, you may let's take 3 of those. Yeah, let's not get so crazy. That'll work.
Okay. Oh,
so that's 12,000 million let's see, 12,000 million, billion, trillion. That's too much, I think. I think that's going to be too much. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And that number below was the default?
Yeah, that's what the
not the default, but it was what it was before.
Mm.
Okay. Well, we've got 3 viewers, so hello, viewers. If you want to say something, feel free. We're just hanging out here. I think we'll probably go for another 20 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
We got it. Now we can just try to. Yeah, it should show up there now. Wow, we're rich. That's 120 dash. See, that's why we got that. That's why we got that. We did that masternode code so that we could get a ton of dash.
Yeah. Okay. So now we'll try registering again.
Yep. This is one of the longer ones, man.
Yeah. Oh, I finished.
I got it though. It finished. That's good. Nice.
Do that.
Again, this is SDK issues, not platform side issues.
So we have our data contract. No documents. Oh, so this is essentially a little table or database.
Yep.
That now we can write to.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So the next step was, okay, so I added that. We see that? Yeah, we saw that. Okay. And now we will retrieve the contract. Retrieve contract. And that. So we'll get it from by contract ID. That was much quicker. Okay. Document schemas there. So I'm assuming the viewer is using the same like stuff that we're using in the client.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like it'll be using
part of it's the same
objects.
and part of it's different. I think that they're using a different. They're using a little bit of a tweaked version of the SDK, and in some cases they might be using the Rust SDK.
Oh, okay. So now we'll create one to update the contract.
And they're also running a full node that's indexing things. So
Mhm.
they're doing a lot more than we would expect from a typical application developer.
So we'll run the update contract script. Get our identity, our contract ID, the original contract. Get document schema note, which we
Yeah, we called it note.
Oh, right there.
Yep.
Okay. It's a note. That's a object that can have a message. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're updating it. The author property. Oh, so are we updating the schema here? Okay, that's what it looks like anyway.
Say again.
So we're updating the schema here.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're adding an author field.
Yep. Haven't got to the documents part yet. There you go.
There we go. So we have our author field. Add an apps object to the client options. Pass contract ID. Okay, that's interesting. So you can register specific apps for each client.
Mm-hmm.
So now we submit a note document. Let's run that, and then we'll walk through here. So we get our identity again, and then we're creating a document from the platform. Tutorial contract.note. Assuming that's the name and our identity, and then our object that should match our schema, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And then broadcast to the documents. That's interesting. So what is documents, platform documents?
Well, in our case, that's what we're creating right now. So you can think of it like you know the main two types of databases. You got SQL databases, and then you got document oriented databases.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like a document oriented database, and it's all custom, by the way.
Okay.
And so the documents are just the actual documents that it stores, that they have to adhere to the schema.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so we have it there. And so the documents are all on the blockchain. And for our specific case, we're like namespacing it with our identity.
It's not namespacing it with the identity in this case. It's just saying, like, in order to write to it, you have to give it an identity. So that was an argument to the function, for authorization purposes, not necessarily namespacing purposes.
So this identity, is this kind of like putting it into normal web app world, like an app ID that you might do with like an OAuth client or something like that, or like or even like the user's user ID?
It's like the user's user ID, yeah.
Okay.
Because to write to the data, to write to the contract, so anybody can deploy a data contract. And furthermore, anybody can write to that data contract if it adheres to the data contract, and it doesn't have to be the same person. So we're the same person in this case. We're creating the data contract, but in a normal application, you'd have the app developer creating the data contract, and then the app users would create the documents, and they would have to have their own identities as well.
Oh, okay. So then they would show up as owner here
Yeah.
for
So
like the okay.
they own that data. So I could submit a a note to your data contract, and then I would be the owner of that piece of data.
I see. Okay, interesting.
I would give it my identity when creating it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I had an idea for a project that might be interesting to do with crypto, which is like a draft. So we do this fantasy baseball game, me and a group of friends, and it'd be to like run the draft, but see the draft in the blockchain. It probably wouldn't make much sense to run on the actual blockchain. I might want to run like my own,
Mm-hmm.
I guess like my own node or network or
Is it data that's
something.
intended to be public?
Not really. Like it'd be for like this group of people,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I guess I just need to think through that more.
Yeah. So the sweet spot for use cases on platform is use cases where the data is intended to be public, and like the more public the better. So like a social network, for example, is a good example, because it's not like you're trying to hide your data on a social network. You're trying to do the opposite. You're trying to publish it to as many people as possible.
Hmm.
But if it's an application where you really want data to be private, you definitely don't want it on a public blockchain because everybody can see it. And there is an option for you to encrypt data client side, store it
Hmm.
encrypted on the public side, and then have the clients decrypt it using different, and people could have their decryption keys so that you could have only certain people able to view certain parts of the data, for example. But that's a little bit more complicated, and it's probably not the first application that I would want to develop on Dash platform. Something that's intended to be private.
Yeah, or at least like
Although
my
password
audience.
manager would be a good example of something where it is private data, but you want it accessible from lots of different devices. That's actually
Mm.
a good example of private
Oh,
data, but
okay. Yeah.
you'd have to do your own encryption.
Yeah.
Of course, with the keys that you have, the intention is like one of the reasons why you have so many sets of keys is exactly that. So you saw when we created our identity, it created a lot of different public-private key pairs,
Uh-huh.
and that's part of the reason is that you can have different authorization access controls with those different key pairs. I
Okay.
haven't personally like gotten into that in depth, but that's why it was designed that way.
Okay. So we created a document, and now we have the get document script. So we'll run that one. And so we got the last 5 messages. Okay.
Yeah, and you've only submitted one, so you'll only see one. But if you submitted another document, you'd see two there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then updating and deleting documents. Try to run through these.
I think we're going to get to the end here.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal.
Yeah. It wasn't my goal originally, but since the Dash Evo tool thing didn't work out, it's a good fallback.
So we're running the update note document. Whoa. Okay. That's some weird looking. query syntax. So we're gonna get our document by our document ID, just that we've saved. We'll get multiple documents back. We're just gonna get the first one, and then we'll update its message with hello again, and then do that same broadcast. Except here we do replace. Remember on the other one, this one, when you broadcast it, there were 2 empty arrays.
Yep.
Seems strange. Like, are those required?
No.
Like,
so you can do multiple actions in the same transaction. That's what that's for. Is you can replace or you can delete, and you can do all of them at the same time, as far as I know.
Okay, so this is creating a transaction, like
Yep.
this block right here.
Yep.
And same thing there. Okay. So that ran. If we refresh this, should see hello again. Okay. And then this next one, deleting a document. And let's run that delete no document. Same lookup, just in the same broadcast, just this will be a delete action for that document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you basically have all your create, read, update, delete. You can do all at the same time, if for whatever reason you wanted to. It's I think cheaper to do it that way, more efficient.
So if we, so what would happen if you just put, like all of them, like the same object in all of these?
Let's not get crazy, Caleb. You're getting crazy here.
So that's the last step. Oh, then it's going to set up an express server.
Well, that's the last step of the main action. The other part of this is we don't actually need to do the rest of that because it's just creating an application, the client side application, rather than doing it all in the CLI. But you'd get the idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So that's deleted. So everything is soft deleted, it looks like? Or it's like the record is marked deleted, but the data is no longer available? But we should still be able to see the data in the history?
Yeah, and part of this is I need to actually ask Mikhail, the guy that creates this Explorer. It's deleted from the blockchain, but it might not be deleted from Mikhail's servers, databases.
Oh, okay.
So he's continually he is continually scanning activity on the blockchain, and he's posting it into his own database and indexing it for speed and things like that. And I don't know which parts are coming from his database versus which ones are coming directly from the blockchain.
So if I wanted to make sure that it was gone from the blockchain, how would I do that?
Well, if you're calling it from the CLI instead of from the Explorer, like that's the best way to see if something exists on the blockchain, is to use your own tooling.
How do they have the CLI?
I just meant your CLI, like your terminal is what I meant.
Oh, but what do I run in
Just
here?
to ask for a data to ask for data.
Yeah, it's like is there like I'm expecting like dash CLI identity, something passing through here.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I don't. There is a CLI. There is a CLI that does some of this stuff. I don't know exactly what the progress on it and the features are on it because I haven't tested it. I didn't develop it. There
Mm-hmm.
is something like that, but what I mean is like using the SDK with your own application, um, with your own application logic.
Yeah,
You can check to see what exists and what doesn't exist. Like we've been doing that throughout the tutorial,
yeah. So
getting documents.
just use the client
Yeah, use the
because
client.
the client's going to refer to the actual blockchain,
Yeah,
and this
you know
yeah,
you're not getting intercepted with somebody else's database if you're directly using the SDK.
yeah, and I can see that I didn't come back
Yep.
here. So
Yep.
okay, well
And
that's
there are
tutorial.
certain contracts which you'll be able to, which the contract specifies that says like this data is immutable. Like even if you want to, you can't delete this. For example, there are certain that you can make a contract do that. You can also make a contract be mutable that lets data owners delete their data. So it just depends on what you want to do in your data contract design. And a
Mm,
lot of the more advanced features with regard to that are in the Dash Evo tool, and I'm not sure how much of it is specced out in the JS SDK because that again is in flux.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Rust SDK is kind of like the closest to the metal, the most feature rich, the most secure way to interact with platform at this time. And then the Dash Evo tool, which uses the Rust SDK, is the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way to interact with that. Um, so we will see what they say about the installation errors that we got there, and try to do that on another stream. But right now we are just over 2 hours, so I think that's probably a good place to end. Unless you had any other questions, yeah,
No,
fire them away if you do.
it's I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Caleb, and thanks for helping us test the M1
Yep.
Mac that I don't have. So that's good to know. Everybody else, thanks for joining in, and we will see you next time.